Good evening. So, I know there's a lot of stuff that was going on here, talking. I'm going to probably repeat some of the stuff in my speech, but I want to let everybody know that I'm the president of Local 100 for 5 weeks, and, you know, I get the job, and I get Con. You know, now I get Janus, you know. After 38 years on the job, this is what I get. But I'm up for the fight. And as I was listening to the groups, one particular group said, we got to go on the Con win. And that's something that Labor doesn't do, right? When we win something, okay, we won. And we wait for the next catastrophe. But we should go on that win because that was a big win. And this is like the first time in a long time that all of Labor, I went knocking on doors of union members, all different unions, and everybody got the message. Everybody that I knocked on that door knew about Con and where to vote. And they even would say, I know, turn the ballot around. Exactly. So it's a pleasure to be here and hopefully add something to the dialogue, possibly the most dangerous threat to the union movement in more than a generation. I'd like to thank my fellow presenters. It's a pleasure to be here with you, and I would like to thank the Murphy Institute for sponsoring this very important event as we await the outcome of Janus AFSCME. My topic, can you hear me? Yes. Okay. My topic is the future of the labor movement after Janus. I'm not sure I can speak for the labor movement, but I can shed some light on the future of our union in TW Local 100. Janus, as was Frederick, and other such legal challenges to Abood, as we have heard today, is wrapped in the flag of freedom of speech. Mark Janus, possibly the most gullible person in America, and I'm being kind, says in a video posted on right-wing State Policy Network website that the case is about his personal free speech rights. In other words, it's about him alone. He wants to see his state, Illinois, become the powerhouse it used to be. He said he'd rather give his money to the Boy Scouts or other civic-minded organization than AFSCME. The same organization, the State Policy Network, where his video is posted, had this to say recently about a potential Janus win on the Supreme Court. This is our opportunity to defund and defang one of our freedom movement's most powerful opponents, the government unions. They also said that because of Janus, they are primed right now to deliver the mortal blow to public sector unions. Doesn't sound much like they think this case is about Mark Janus' free speech rights. Absolutely the right-wing free speech front, funded, as we have heard today, by more pragmatic entities like Koch brothers, Bradley Foundation, the right to Koch, Koch, they're all a bunch of, okay. Well, Ed Koch wasn't so, work committees and others think that Janus will end us. Unless we have a winning strategy to combat the aftermath of Janus, it just might. The most frustrating part about Janus is that it is out of our control. Janus isn't a bully boss or an anti-union governor or mayor that we know how to fight. Janus is a poison, like mustard gas in World War I. We can see it coming, we can smell it from afar, but there's nothing we can do about the direction of the wind that will either carry it towards us or in a different direction. It's pretty obvious, excuse me, that the court is going to rule against us 5-4. Justice Gorsuch doesn't have much of a judicial track record on the court, but the so-called smart money, as we all know, is on him and not on us. If anyone thinks we have a chance, consider an article that appeared in Politico by Senator Elizabeth Warren less than 2 weeks ago. The piece points to a luncheon held at the Trump International Hotel in New York in September, on the same day that the Supreme Court announced it would hear Janus. The luncheon was hosted by the Fund for American Studies, a Front for Koch brothers, and the Bradley Foundation, which is largely footing the legal bill for Janus. Guess who the guest speaker at the luncheon was? Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch. Sounds like inside baseball, right? So we have some time to prepare for the aftermath of Janus. What do we do about it? One thing TW Local 100 and RTW International are not going to do is wave the white flag before the invasion ever hits. Several unions have already announced that they're cutting spending and staff in preparation for a predictable fall-off of the revenues due to Janus. We're going to do the opposite. We're planning to increase spending and add staff both at the local and international to mount a fight back. At our International Union's convention in late September, we passed a resolution impaneling a special committee of local officers in public sector settings. This committee will be charged with developing a national strategy for TWU to stay 100% union. Our International Union is even considering a series of paid ads in high-profile newspapers to unmask Janus for what it is and challenge Justice Gorsuch to decide between Koch Industries or the American middle class. Having said all that here, an outline of what Local 100 hopes to do to combat the aftermath of Janus. This is a script that we think fits our organization. 1, legislative option. The Supreme Court will rule only on the merits of Janus, not its implementation on a state-by-state basis. We hope to work with other public sector unions in New York, the Central Labor Council, and the State Federation to beat back the most outrageous possibilities such as loss of dues checkoff and annual sign-ups. An internal TW national approach. We will work with our national union and the other TW locals affected by Janus to share assets, best practice, and to support each other's efforts. TW already has 2 transit unions operating in right-to-work states. They have traditionally been able to boost dues payment, often in excess of 90%. We will lean on their experience to form a winning strategy for TWU. New member orientation. I believe we in Local 100 are a bit ahead of the game here. Our only public sector employee is MTA, a very very large one. We currently have a program with the MTA where every new employee spends an entire day in Local 100 headquarters. Our union hall is only 4 blocks from New York City Transit training facility, so access is easy and mandatory. We are currently in the process of reviewing the program with an eye to improvement so that every worker who comes through the union hall will willfully and sign dues checkoff card before they leave the room. Affirming and strengthening our relationship with current 40,000 members at MTA. The dangers posed by Janus are just as threatening as it relates to our current members as it is with the new employees, and maybe more so. Members can and often do talk about our union as us, but the vast majority of our members work their jobs and then go home to take care of their family and responsibilities. Too many, therefore, the relationship with unions is a distant one, in which the union is considered it. In other words, an organization, an entity, and not a team that they are part of. We have to deal with both perspectives And that starts with addressing members' needs every day on the job, as well as at contract time. Our union of 40,000 members has about 200 elected positions. That's around 1 elected officer for every 200 members. This includes our executive board, more than 40 members, 15 division committees, and a large number of section committee. Because of our members are scattered through the subway system and across all of the bus routes in the city, all our division offices have phone numbers. The members can call when they need a rep urgently, but most of all, our members see their rep a lot more than that. Reps are elected, so if reps want to continue to be elected, then they need to be dealing with the members' issues. Otherwise, soon become former reps. That has always been the culture at TWU. It's not easy getting elected. It's not easy staying elected. For the purpose of dealing in a post-Janus world, this tough, uncompromising political reality of Local 100 works in our favor. We have a magazine, a website, Twitter, Facebook. We have a lot of stuff. We have extensive mailing lists, email lists that we're currently updating and improving. We will use all of these things to speak the need to stick to our union and pay dues. We also have activists who hold no union office, but who turn out when they are needed. They will help, and this will make a difference. But in the final analysis, it's on the reps. Reps will have to speak to their members one-on-one, in small groups and in large groups, about how Washington, D.C. and Wall Street are trying to destroy our contracts and kill the middle class, and how we need to stick together in this new front of America's class of warfare. We will fight the urge to treat those who will fall prey to Janus as if they are the enemy. We have enemies in Washington, in state legislators, in local governments, and on Wall Street. There is nothing to be gained by launching a war in the depots and the crew rooms. We feel that building on the loyalty of the great majority who stand together as one, we will win back some of those who waver. Some we may never win back, but that should not be fatal for our union. Some of these things are lessons we have learned the hard way. When the subways were private companies, we had a union shop. If you worked on the subway, you were a union member. When the subways were taken over by the city, we lost the union shop and the right to bargain. It took a long time to rebuild these rights. It took almost 20 years to get collective bargaining back. It took another 20 years, agency shop fee. I'm almost done. During this time, our union made a few mistakes, like picketing the homes of members who quit the union. As you can imagine, that did not last very long. Our union also did a lot of things right, like winning a 40-hour week, winning a real pension, creating a medical program. These things have lasted to this day, and that is why our union has lasted to this day. Janus will mean that we will have to make still more effective use of our resources and double down on communicating with members. We will have to represent our members as well as we ever have, even if we have less money to do it with. How we do this will take forethought, but even more, it will take adapting to new times as we go along. I think the overriding point is this. This is something we can do. We can hold our ranks together, we can keep our union strong, and we can face up to the challenge of Janus. What it takes, above all, is working with our members and coming through for them. So I just want to say a couple of things on that. I go to most of all the new orientations, and I ask those new members, when you need a vacation change, and when you need a change of tour, or when you're being written up, or when you have problems with your health bill, if there is no union, where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? There's no place to go. The boss is going to have his way with you, and you ain't gonna have nowhere to go. So it sinks in, but you really gotta let them know about it. When I came on this job in 1980, I came after the strike, and then a year later, we lost our checkoff. And everybody had those receipt books out, and we went around, and yeah, we didn't get everybody, but in the end, people realized that they needed to belong to the union. In 2006, it happened again, you know? So we have to put an education out there, and we have to let the members also know that without unions, you don't have a middle class. So if you care about your children, your grandchildren, then you got to keep this movement alive. And here's the other thing I tell them, and I'm going to close with this. I know it's late, right? I tell them that, Jesus, I just lost it when I tell you. Well, I'll probably think about it when I go back to sit down. But anyhow, you guys get the point. The point is you got to emphasize that it's not only about them, it's about their children, and it's about their children's children, because not everybody's going to be rich. You know, not everybody's going to be rich. We need the middle class, and we need to survive. So thank you. I appreciate it. And
it's going to be a new day for unions, right? I mean, we are entering a new period in the public sector, and we have enormous challenges. But I have to say, being here today has made me feel incredibly heartened, because it's fantastic to see so many of us from across the public sector and our brothers and sisters in the private sector here today to be planning, thinking, meeting each other, sharing resources, sharing ideas. We're going to leave this room, and I think we are going to be much better prepared to face these challenges, and we're going to know each other a little better so that we have each other's backs in these challenges as we go forward. So I want to thank everybody for coming here today. You'll be hearing from us, and we hope we can keep this going amongst ourselves and beyond with the public, with our members, and that's all. So thanks, everybody. Please stick around for some wine. Thank you all.